Hey, this is Jasper at Get Paid for Your Pet, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to remotely manage your Airbnb or short term rental property. I'm writing a book on the topic of investing in property with the purpose of renting it out on Airbnb or other short term rental platforms. And I'm featuring a number of stories in this book. By the way, it's projected to come out in April, so I'm still in the writing and researching process. But one of the stories that I featured was somebody who invested in a house in Devonport, which is a city near Disneyland. So it's a very good area to rent out because there's no regulation. The area is dependent on tourists, so it's very unlikely that they will ever restrict short-term rentals in that area. But the person actually ended up selling his house there because he couldn't find a good way to remotely manage it. He tried several property management companies and he couldn't find a good one. And I hear this a lot. I hear a lot of negative experiences with property management companies, especially when you're doing it remotely. And I guess one of the reasons for that is that you're not there to look after your house and you're not there to look what the property management company is doing. So you kind of just have to trust that they will do a good job. But it's kind of hard to check on them if you're not there, right? And so the stories that I heard is like this particular person who had his property in Devonport. At some point, he found out through somebody that he knew in the area that the cleaners were having parties at his house when it wasn't rented out. They were trying to charge him double or even triple for repairs that were being done on his house. And so, he went through a bunch of these companies and eventually he just, sold the house because he also didn't have time to go down to the area and spend a lot of time there and find somebody to manage it for him. So, I think in terms of remote management, like I've always had just one person that I could always rely on when I was renting out my apartment in Amsterdam. And I still think that's the best solution. You have one person that you trust, that's always there. And, that person, if you can find that person is invaluable, right? And so I really recommend you pay that person well. But how do you find this person if you don't have anybody, right? Well, I would suggest to start in your personal network, right? Ask all your friends. Do you have a cleaning person that you trust that you've known for a long time? And if you find a cleaning person, I mean, Airbnb turnovers is different than just the cleaning, right? You want to prepare the space as best as you can to receive your guests. And the Airbnb turnover, the way you set up your house, kind of depends on the composition of the group, right? It's if there's multiple people coming, you want to throw in some extra towels. Maybe if there's more people staying than you have beds for, you want to set up the spare bed, or set up the sofa, the couch where people can sleep on, or whatever it may be. If somebody comes with a baby, you want to set up a baby cot or something. So Airbnb turnovers are very different from just regular cleaning. So if you find a cleaning person, I really recommend you train that person well and really explain what is Airbnb hosting about. How is it different than cleaning hotel rooms, for example, or how is it different from regular cleanings? And I think if you train your cleaning person well, then that person could potentially be your manager. But if you can't find anybody like that and you are going to rely on a property management company, then I would always recommend that you find a company where the founders are actually Airbnb hosts, right? Because they understand the short-term rental business. It sounds like there's a lot of companies out there, especially in areas where short-term rentals are very popular. Disneyland is an example where there's probably just a bunch of people who they see an opportunity to make money, and since you're not there to look at to check on what they're doing, it's very tempting for them to not do a very good job and try to overcharge you and do all sorts of stuff. So I think finding somebody who is an Airbnb host who's been doing short-term rentals is the first thing you want to check. And then I would check out their listings. Say, are they actually doing a good job on Airbnb? Do they get good reviews? I would really do some due diligence before you select a property management company. And another option, of course, is to find an Airbnb host in the area, right? Because that person is the perfect manager, right? If you're already hosting on Airbnb, you already know what it's like. You already know what's important. So finding somebody who is an actual Airbnb host, maybe you could stay with an Airbnb host and say, hey, I'm interested in buying a property here. Would you be interested in managing it? Right? And now you also have the option on Airbnb where you can actually find somebody to co-host it with you. And so that's another thing you can do. I mean, I would do those things. I would try to find a local person who can manage it for you. I would much rather do that than just hire some random property management company, because the experiences that I've heard are generally not that great. All right. Well, this was it for today. I'm learning a lot from doing all the research for writing my book, and so I'm probably going to share a lot of the lessons that I'm learning as I'm going through this writing process with you in future videos. So keep an eye out for those. I hope you have a great start of the week, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I'll see you then.